What's up, guys? Mike BAK Phony here with a little bit of a vlog update, I guess, to tell you guys what happened to the Guild Wars 2 footage. A lot of you guys already followed me on Twitter. You guys saw last week, like Thursday or something. I got pissed and I raged all over Twitter because it turns out that my footage that I shot, all of my footage that I shot for Guild Wars 2, with the exception of everything I shot at the end of the last day because I had switched codecs at the time. It was, for the most part, foobarred. Now, I don't know if I have anything here that I can show you guys because, for the most part, I've tried to purge my system of all footage. So when I see it, I don't have like flashbacks because this is definitely something that has never happened, and it's embarrassing. And I was very, very disappointed that this happened. So it doesn't look like I have any footage here readily available. So here's what happened. I have tons and tons of footage that I shot over the weekend. I'm still looking, by the way. And I did a couple checks right away. The checks were to make sure that the footage is good to go and everything. I use a program called DxTory because it records everything in RAW. It also records a secondary track so that I could go through and split it off later with like my own notes to myself. So if I want to go through it and like edit something, I'm like, God, what was I thinking right here? I actually have my notes because I'm talking to myself while I'm shooting the video. DxTory is a great software program for me to do recording on. I used it for the previous Guild Wars 2 video, the BFF report that I did. I used it for parts of that. I use it for all the gameplay stuff that we do on GameBreaker.tv. I've never ever had a problem with it until this weekend. So I did find some footage here. How can I show you guys this? How about I try to play a long clip here in Windows Media Player. I did upload a clip before to kind of demonstrate what it looked like, and because people were like, "Oh yeah, just put it up anyways. We'll totally watch it." And I was like, "I don't know," and I was kind of buying into it. I was like, "Maybe they will watch it." But then when I posted it, the response that I got on Twitter was, "Yeah, that this is definitely not good." So what happens is you get this very, very, what's the term, herky-jerky type effect. So here we go. Here it is playing on this screen. So as you can see, it's not skipping because of a buffer. This is playing off of a RAID. So it's definitely not a buffer issue. What you're seeing is the footage is running fine, and then it's skipping tons and tons of frames. So unfortunately, all the footage looks like this. But initially, when I started shooting, I have like 3 or 4 Ranger clips that actually came out okay. But they're not long. They're like a minute long, 2 minutes long. Definitely not something that I can actually use. And they were more like B-roll stuff because it wasn't really me trying to, I was going through and I was testing. Everything works fine, great. I've used this. I'm not gonna spend the entire day testing when I could just go through when I've already used the software before. So it is very, very unfortunate. I did feel like honestly, I feel like a huge asshole because I felt like I let everybody down, and I let everybody know on Twitter. I was like, I felt really, really bad. Because I did have really high hopes for things that I could do for this past beta. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen. But the good news is that I now have a ton of experience using pretty much every class. I spent a good few hours, like literally, I spent like probably between 2, maybe 3 hours playing every single class over the weekend and learning everything and trying to absorb as much as I can and all that. It's just unfortunate that we were now in the situation where we no longer have footage to use. So I'll just throw another one in there so you guys can see what I'm talking about. It makes it very difficult to watch because you're watching and you're seeing that my guy is stopping and freezing and porting all over the place. So even using these tiny little clips in between breaks is just not worth it. So here's what I'm gonna do. Most of you guys know that I do a lot of work on GameBreaker.tv. So I am going to do a video hit. We already did one for PvE or for like a general stuff, like we did a Q&A. I'm going to do one for PvP. Probably going to be about 30 minutes long, trying to cover as many questions as we can in that amount of time. But the way that you guys submit them is very important. If you guys have any specific PvP questions for somebody who has experience playing a little bit of everything, I'm not an expert in everything, but I do, having gotten my hands on everything, I kind of know the mechanics of how all the classes work. Actually, I do know the mechanics of how all the classes work. So feel free to, if you have a question that you want to maybe get on the show, obviously we're not going to be able to use all of them. We're going to try really hard. Send an email We gotta do email because we have comments. I'm gonna have a billion of them. Send an email to contact@gamebreaker.tv, and in the subject line, put GW2 PvP. That way we know right away by looking at it, this is a question for that, because we get a lot of email through the contact@gamebreaker.tv email account. And so the best way to separate it is GW2 PvP, just like that. GW2 space PvP. If it says have a question or WTF, it's probably going to get skipped because we're going to get a lot of requests for doing this. I'm going to try to work on it sometime next week. Again, I do feel like the only reason why I'm making this video, even though I've already announced it on GameBreaker and on Twitter, is because I know there's a lot of you guys who are asking on every video that I post, where's my Guild Wars 2 footage? And I even updated on the comments there just to let you guys know that it's dead. But this is why, I'm sure after watching this, you guys can understand why I'm not going to be using this footage. And again, it's super unfortunate. I do feel like that. But the next time we get a beta that comes around, I'm gonna try to deliver on a couple of good products to put out to everybody. Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of people getting into the next one, but there's also gonna be a bunch of people that are gonna be getting in that know how to PvP, which is great for everybody. More content, right? I mean, we all want more content. But I'm gonna do my best to get in there and get as much good footage as I can. I don't know if I'll be able to do this again, but if I do, it'll be a lot easier for me to do that because I now have a good base knowledge of everything. So there's gonna be very little learning curve for me to actually go through. I'm gonna jump in, I'll be like, yes, I remember playing this. I know what to do. I don't have to experiment with anything. I'm just gonna get in there, play, shoot a couple matches, and get out. So we'll see what happens next time. But in the meantime, if you guys have questions that you want answered from somebody who, again, has played a little bit of everything, let me know via contact@gamebreaker.tv. Okay? Last time I'll say it. Sorry. I feel like I owe you guys. But at the same time, most people are just like, nah, man, just talk about it. That's all we want. We want to hear the opinions. And so I was like, great, I can do that. So contact@gamebreaker.tv, subject line GW2 space PvP. And next week sometime we're going to film an extra long, kind of a podcasty hit to just talk about the various facets of Guild Wars 2 PvP, whether it be WVW or even competitive stuff. You know, it just doesn't matter. I'll try to cover a little bit of everything for you guys. But that's it. That's it, guys. I really appreciate you guys sticking around and hanging on and checking it out. Once that goes live, I'll tweet it, put it on Facebook. Maybe I can link it back here somehow. And that's it. So hopefully it's enough to get you guys to make you guys not want to lynch me or something. But that's it. I'm gonna go ahead and log for the rest of the day and go smother my face with a pillow. Now I'm just actually being a jerk. But that's it, guys. Thank you very much. And again, follow me at twitter.com/AKMikeB and also on Facebook. This is where I usually go off on my rants whenever something goes wrong, which doesn't happen often. It just happens to happen during the times that it doesn't need to happen at all. So thanks, guys. I'll see you guys later.